believe in the gun. And our players don't use it most days. They use it every day.
In my 20 years as head coach, I've used the gun every single year. Well, my dream as a coach that everybody would grow up with the gun, because getting all those reps would make my job a lot easier.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the NABC Championship webinar series. I'm Tom McDonald. I'm on the board of directors. I'm the 2-year college coach rep. Along with Troy Hilton, we work on this together. Special thanks to Jim Haney, Reggie Minton, Troy again for all the work he's done and all the time spent together on these webinars. Eric Weberg, Rick Letty, Mark Heatherman, really the whole staff, Wade, Stephanie, everyone for all their time and efforts. The Gun for sponsoring these things, these webinars. Sideline Interactive, they're going to give away one table 8 feet long LED, free shipping over $11,000 value. We're going to do that on the 8th. More information will come how you sign up. Go to their website, I think, and sign everything up to be on the list. Craig Reed from KBA has been absolutely stellar. Couldn't ask for a better person to help us with coaches who are stuck at home, the presenters, giving them clipboards, sending them clipboards, marker boards, magnetic boards, so they can present if they wanted the equipment. Mike Bray, past president, for all of his work and encouragement. Jamie Dixon, same thing. And both of them spoke and did a fantastic job. Unbelievable board of directors, their social media posts, their help, direction, advice. Championship Productions, Bill Bergen, Nate Landis, Daryl Bennett. I'll give you a couple more things. Just remember, if you want to go to Championship Productions, I think you can get 25% off. If you want to buy those virtual 5 clinics that replace the 5 clinics that didn't happen this spring, I think you get all 5 of them for $125. So with that, I get to the honor of introducing Coach Howard from LaSalle. So I'm going to read through his impressive resume. And it was great to get to know him on the phone just a little bit ago before we got on the webinar. He is the head coach, Ashley Howard from LaSalle, and he is from Philadelphia, played at Drexel, point guard. It's interesting, Coach. All these coaches, their position was point guard. Lon Kruger, Brad, everybody's a point guard. No post players ever get to be head coaches, it looks like. He was an assistant at LaSalle 2004 to 8, Drexel 2008 to 12, and then back at Xavier 2012 to 13, at Villanova 13 to 18, and won the national championship in 16. That's going to be my first question in a second, Coach. And then presently the head coach at LaSalle, done a really, really good job, and all I've heard is great things about him. So, Coach, first, welcome. Thanks for being with us, and we look forward to listening in and learning and gaining some great knowledge from you.
Thanks for having me. I'm really looking forward to getting out here and sharing some of our offensive concepts, and just really appreciate the opportunity to be a part of such a great event.
So let me ask first question. What was it like to win a national championship?
Well, it was, to sum it up, it was like the moment where, all the sacrifices that everybody who worked a part of our staff, from the managers to Coach Wright, it was that moment where we knew that all the sacrifices that everybody made, the commitment that we had to the program, it was worth it, right? And not everybody gets an opportunity to win a national championship, but you appreciate the people that you go through that journey with. And that was the most remarkable part of that experience, just sharing that with a bunch of great people.
Well, I got 2 interesting ones. First of all, you went to Drexel, then you go back to Drexel as an assistant, then you're at LaSalle as an assistant, and then you get to go back and be a head coach. So how was that both times, going from a player to a coach and assistant to the head coach? How was that?
The best thing about all those transitions were, at the time, I didn't have to move. So, one of the biggest things for coaches when you have the opportunity to go from one job to the next, you have to travel and move your family. I didn't have to do that. So going back to Drexel and then back to LaSalle was an easy transition, primarily because I was familiar with the administration. I was familiar with the school. I understood what both of those universities were all about, what the missions were, and it made it an easy transition for me to get in there and do my job.
My next question is, as an educator, which you are, most of the people that are on these calls, 80% of them probably are high school teachers, high school coaches. Can you just talk about your journey? Because it is pretty interesting. A player, Drexel, LaSalle, Drexel, Xavier, and then Villanova. And then maybe you could talk about some of the people that have been on your path, your journey, and how they've prepared you for this job and the job that you're doing.
Well, I can use probably the entire hour talking about my journey. It really just starts with my upbringing. I grew up in a basketball family. My father played for the great Coach Lefty Driesell at the University of Maryland on Coach Driesell's great Maryland teams back in the early mid 70s. So I grew up around the game. Was a gym rat growing up. Had the opportunity to be a fly on the wall in a lot of really good basketball situations. And then when I got to college, I was fortunate enough to earn a scholarship to Drexel. I got diagnosed with a heart condition going into my junior year, and my playing career ended. But thankfully, Coach Bruiser Flint at the time saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and he encouraged me to stick around as a student assistant. And from that point forward, I just developed a passion for teaching the game and just learning the game and the appreciation to work with people and help them become the best version of themselves, right? I tell my players all the time, it's got to be hard for me because you're playing for a guy that still has 2 years of eligibility left, and I'm trying to get that out of you, right? So have an opportunity to stay in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a very unique city as it pertains to college basketball, right? We have 6 Division I programs. I've worked at 3 of them. And, because it's a small community, I was able to maintain my visibility from being at Drexel as a student to moving on to LaSalle and then going back to Drexel and then, just being around Coach Wright and him having an opportunity to see me develop as a young coach right there in the city. I was very fortunate that he gave me an opportunity. And in between that time, going out to Xavier and working with Chris Mack, I really felt like did wonders for my coaching career. Early on as a young assistant coach, my primary responsibility was recruiting and player development. Even though I thought I had suggestions that I wanted to share as the young guy on the staff, I was often told to shut my mouth and be seen and not heard. And I took heed to that. I tried to do the best job that I could as a recruiter. But once I got the opportunity to go to Xavier, Chris Mack allowed me to spread my wings a little bit, get on the floor, teach, perfect my craft in that way. And from that point forward, have an opportunity to go to Villanova, work under Coach Wright. I'm biased, but I think he's the best coach in all of college basketball. He taught me a lot about, running a program, but also, how to teach, how to inspire and how to keep guys who are really talented players that are accustomed to winning, humble and hungry and constantly in the pursuit of becoming the best version of themselves.
Maybe you can expound on some of those things. My next question was this: leadership, motivation, and culture. How do all those things fit together for a young coach like yourself that's got 2 years of eligibility left that you can share? How do you install all those things in a young program?
Well, you know what? It's a challenge because you have to balance the patience of trying to establish a culture. Like a culture isn't created overnight. It takes time. And, the competitor in me wants to win. So it's the balance of, focusing on the small details every day. Any coach that talks to you about culture will probably first talk to you about the habits that you create every day. So, we just want to try to create, habits that'll make us successful. And and every day we just try to emphasize being legit, being honest, giving the maximum effort all the time, valuing our teammates and playing for each other, and the importance of being a part of something bigger than yourself. Trying to be as smart as we can on the floor and off the floor, and then taking pride in those things. So a lot of these concepts and ideas I've adopted from my time with Coach Wright and Coach G and Bruiser and Chris, and now I'm just in a position where I'm able to try to put it all together and come up with my own melting pot of all of those different great coaches that I had the opportunity to work for.
Is there a common trait between all those coaches? Any one thing that kind of transcends each one of them?
Defense. I think the thing that all of those guys were really focused on was the defensive end of the floor, and that being the deciding factor of, did we play well or not, and not just relying on our offense to carry us. Coincidentally, I'm gonna talk about offense today, so I probably should have talked about our half court defense, but that was the common theme amongst all of those guys, were the importance of defending and establishing that side of the floor as our identity.
My last question before I turn over to you: discipline and accountability. How do you work those two things?
So, they go hand in hand. The challenge at times is wanting to allow your players to be aggressive and play off of instincts and not stifle those instincts. But then, still holding them accountable to be disciplined and make the right decisions while being aggressive. And I think that's the balance that, young teams that become old teams get better at. And that's where we are. And I'm looking forward to seeing once we're able to get back to normalcy here, how my guys that are returning have improved in those areas.
Coach, I'm going to turn over to you. And offensive concepts, multi-phase motion offense. So, Coach, and then I'll monitor, Troy and I will monitor your question and answers. Okay. And we'll just say, Coach, we got a couple questions, okay?
Awesome.
Have a good time. Thanks for being with us.
Let's go. I'm excited.
Go.
Thanks for having me. All right. Just allow me to share my screen here quick. And what I want to talk about today is really, the concepts that we talk to our players about on the offensive end. We want to have our players always in an aggressive mindset in terms of catching and shoot the ball. We tell our guys the most open you'll be is on the catch. So shame on you if you're not ready to shoot when the ball comes to you. Being ready to catch, to shoot for us is having your eyes and your feet on the rim, right? Not catching a ball in a jab position, not catching the ball just automatically, whipping a pass. We want our guys to play off of their shot and use your shot as a weapon. So we're going to get into some footage here where we show our guys, being aggressive to catch the shoot. Now, catching the shoot is our first concept that we want to emphasize. So here we're just in a ball screen action, and Scott Spencer, who led the Atlantic 10 and 3-point field goal percentage, is always ready to catch the shoot. And one of the things that I had to get on him early in the season about is, look, man, let it go. So we want our guys to be aggressive. This is a possession where we're in transition. We get to a ball screen, and I don't want Scott Spencer thinking twice if he's open. The most open you'll be is when you first catch it. I think one of the things that it does for us is it puts our guys in a position where the defense is on notice, and that's what we want. If you have multiple guys on the floor that can spread the floor, that can shoot the ball with range, I think the defense has to prepare for that, and particularly in transition, they have to They have to, fly at your guys or get out and deny shooters in the open floor, which in turn will open up driving lanes, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So here we don't have an initial action. We throw the skip, and that's what we call driving space. We'll get into that in a little bit. But again, when Scott Spencer has it, man, we don't want him hesitating. Again, reverse ball screen. Our guys that are catching it here, they could have done a slightly better job of, even on the small ball reversals, getting their eyes on the rim, but they're playing through some of our concepts that we'll get into in a little bit. But just know, like Scott Spencer, when he caught the ball, he was ready to catch to shoot the ball, no hesitation, eyes on the rim, feet on the rim. All right. So driving space is our next concept. Then it's a simple concept that we play off of, and really it's attacking the paint to score, right? The first option is attacking the paint to score. We have a phrase that spacing is offense and offense is spacing. And I adopted that from my days at Villanova working with Coach Wright. We want to have both corners filled. We want to have both slots filled. And for the most part, we want to have our forward who's on the porch opposite of the ball. That way, as the ball is being reversed and our guys are driving, we don't have somebody that's standing right there in front of them clogging the paint, right? So we always want to attack the paint to score. If we have a clear path finish, we'll allow our guys to go off of 1 foot, but for the most part, in the paint, we want to play off of 2 feet or keep a live dribble, all right? Those are the options for the guy who's driving the ball. Now, for the guys who are on the perimeter, we always talk about getting in the vision of the shooter, always have to have the corners filled. We want to shorten passes, which means on dribble penetration, we're not just standing there watching. We're shortening the pass, getting into the vision of the shooter. I'm getting into the vision of the driver. And then the last concept is second cut. And the second cut is if that driver gets stuck and you make an initial shortening of a pass, then you can make a backdoor cut or a second space cut to get in the vision of the driver. So here we get in the driving space. My freshman guard, Yende Akeem, dribble penetration, gets in the lane, gets a paint touch. Isaiah Dees is ready to catch the shoot. Now, in my opinion, a perfect possession for us right here would have been a hard exchange, and our other freshman who starts in the slot here, Sharif Kenny, if there's a harder exchange between Sharif and Isaiah, who has the white headband on opposite, we would have gotten an opportunity to get Sharif a wide open 3 in the corner. But what Sharif did was he second cut. Isaiah continued to move, and Allende was able to find him. Again, another possession where we use a ball screen to create dribble penetration. Allende jump stops. Could have been a travel. He's looking for a cutter. Scott Spencer shortens the pass, gets a wide open 3. Again, another ball screen. We don't have anything. Christian Ray, hard drive. Sharif fills the corner, catch the shoot. Another good drive. Scott Spencer shortens the pass, get into the corner, catch the shoot. Anytime one of our guys penetrates the lane, we want them to always know that they have options opposite of the floor. Both corners are filled. And then if both corners aren't filled, if we keep our dribble alive or we jump stop and pivot and are patient, it'll give the other guys on the perimeter an opportunity to make that second cut. Stagger away, drive, paint touch, reverse it, catch the shoot. Ball screen, throwback, catch the shoot. So the way we can get to driving space is either playing off of our jump shot, like Isaiah does there. That's a great jump stop pivot. playing inside out, makes an extra pass. Let's go back to this possession. So right here, we get a slip ball. Isaiah catches the shoot, which is the first concept. Eyes and feet are on the rim. Uses his shot to initiate a drive. And then once he gets in the paint, he uses a jump stop to get himself on balance. Finds a Yende on a kick. Then we get that ball back to the corner. That's a pretty good possession for us right there. Our next concept is what we call reversing the ball to make a play. Now, when we reverse the ball to make a play, we obviously want to get the ball from one side of the floor to the other. If we can get the ball to the second or third side of the floor, we feel really confident that we'll be able to get a good shot. And obviously, watching these clips here, we put a emphasis on shooting the three, right? And, you know, again, you got to have the corners filled. And we believe that movement creates movement. So the more the ball moves, the more player movement you can have. If the ball is stagnant, if we have one player that's just clogging the floor, then in all honesty, you don't have the opportunity to get movement from players, and vice versa. If the players aren't moving, then the defense can clog the floor and take away driving opportunities. So movement creates movement. Get the ball to the second or third side of the floor, fill the corners, and reversing the ball to make a play is simple concept. For us, reversing the ball to make a play, we get the ball movement. Now, in a perfect world, our senior Saul Fury probably should have exchanged with Dave Beatty, who's in the opposite slot on that pass. He doesn't, but we're able to get the ball from one side of the floor to the other. Once we get a full ball reversal, the individual who's in the corner knows that we want him to try to make a play, either catch and shoot, or in this case, Sharif Kenny gets a straight line drive and a finish. Notice on Sharif's drive, we get good action on the weak side where Scott Spencer and Saul exchange. And if Sharif didn't have a shot, we're confident that we would have been able to get either Saul or Scott a shot on the opposite side of the floor. Again, here we run stagger action. We get one ball reversal. We get a ball reversal to the second side, which helped us get driving space, and then a easy layup in the middle of the paint. Movement creates movement. Again, we went from reverse the ball to make a play now to our driving space concept, right? And now off the driving space, we get Jared Kimbrough circling to the front of the rim for easy deuce. As we can see, my freshman point guard here, Yende, he reverses the ball, and this is one of the areas where we're definitely looking to improve. He reverses the ball, but he doesn't exchange, which clogs our floor and makes this ball reversal a little less effective, even though we still end up with a good result. So in a perfect possession, we would have liked the Yende to get a full ball reversal, a full exchange. But again, we get the ball from one side of the floor to the other. Again, Isaiah Dees does a really good job of catching the shoot. Eyes and feet are on the rim. So now we're back to the catch the shoot concept. Uses a shot. Now we're in driving space. And then Scott Spencer again, catching the shoot. Reverse the ball to make a play. Dave Beatty. We get it from one side of the floor to the other. We go from reversing the ball to getting a drive in space, getting a pink touch, playing inside out, getting a wide open shot. And again, on that possession here, we get the ball reversal, and we don't get the shot. We just get David Beatty coming off hard, shortening the pass, but it's all created by ball movement, player movement, and spacing. All right? The next concept we're going to talk about is post and rip. So anytime we throw the ball into the post, we want to have movement both on the ball side and on the help side. At times, we haven't done it in the past. It's something that we have to improve on. But we want to occupy both sides of the floor with screening actions or exchanges. If we have any questions, feel free to stop me at any time. So right here, we get into a dribble handoff, and then right inside the Jared Kimbrough. Automatically, we get an up screen. Scott Spencer is able to come off and catch the shoot. One of the reasons why we like to utilize the up screen here is because now Christian Ray's man has to make a decision. Am I helping on the post or am I helping on the screening action? Right here, he jumps to the ball, really kind of loads to the post up, which gives Scott Spencer an opportunity to come off of what we consider a naked screen. Small thing, but we can see that Scott Spencer, in particular in this possession, is always a threat to catch the shoot. So he gets his eyes and feet on the rim. The defender closes out on him. Now he uses it as an opportunity to try to create driving space. We don't have anything. Jump stop, we get a good ball reversal. So now this is where all of our concepts come into play. We talk about not wanting to run plays, but just teach our guys how to make plays. And if we just stay within our concepts, we're confident that we'll get a good shot at the end of the day. All right. So we catch the shoot, drive in space to a ball reversal into the post. And again, Allende, point guard throws it in. He up screens, does a good job. His man helps. And now, as a lot of coaches talk about, when you're a screener, if you do a good job setting a screen, a lot of times you're open. Allende Akeem is open after the up screen.
Coach, I got a couple questions for you.
Let's go.
Do you always use the up screen and on post feeds, or do you have multiple actions that allow them to read?
So what we do is we do multiple actions. The one thing that we want to do is we up screen when we have certain lineups where we know we have shooters that have to be guarded on the perimeter. When we have a lineup where we have less shooters on the floor, then we may dive guys either from the opposite slot, or we may throw the ball into the post and then dive with the post feeder and then fill around the other with the other four perimeter spots.
Is there a call your post for your post movement, or do the players read each other?
So what we do is we, in our preparation, we'll determine as a coaching staff what it's better to do, and at times we'll make adjustments during the game. So it could be a game where we're up screening and then the defense is switching it, and then we make the adjustment. Okay, rather than up screen, let's get a hard dive just to give the defense a different look, because they may get locked into just one way of ripping off of the post.
How do you decide when to have the post on the strong side?
Most of the time, we'll put the post on a strong side after a ball screen action, right? So if we get what we call an ace, which is a single side ball screen, and that guy rolls and we don't necessarily turn the corner and get in the paint, then we can throw it into the post there. Or if we get a pair side ball screen where the forward comes out, sets the ball screen, hard roll, and then we can throw it back and enter it to the post. Those are the times where we want to get the ball into the post off of ball screen action. Other than that, we, for the most part, keep our forwards opposite, unless we're running within our system where we're saying, okay, we're trying to get to our ball screens.
Do you post the ball with the big being opposite?
At times, we will, based on our big not moving quick enough to get opposite when the ball's reversed. So there are times where we've thrown the ball inside, and I'm saying to myself, like, yo, he should have been moving. But in all honesty, our forward, Ed Croswell, he was one of our leading scorers. So a lot of times our guys would look for him. And even if he didn't get opposite and we felt like he had one-on-one in the post or somebody on his back, we would just throw it to him. And he's never wrong, because now once we throw it inside to him, we can automatically get in the post and rip.
Do you run a lot of false action to get movement and space?
We do. So we'll run a lot of false movement where it's just getting ball reversals, getting ball movement, player movement to get to a post up, getting ball movement, player movement to get to an ISO, getting ball movement, player movement to get to a ball screen. We will utilize some false motion just to get into certain actions when we know we want to take advantage of certain matchups.
How do you work against or attack a team that packs it in like a pack line?
I think one of the things that is really effective versus the pack line is having 4 aggressive shooters on the floor. So the reason why we want to catch the shoot is because teams that want to pack it in and protect the basket, if they now have to guard everybody on the floor on the catch. So the same way Scott Spencer's being aggressive catching the shoot. In this clip right here, as I'll let it play, our freshman forward opposite Brandon Stone is a really good 3-point shooter. So now you have 4 guys on the floor that have to be guarded. And then it opens up opportunities for you to get catch to shoot shots. So now when you're playing against teams that run the pack line, the more they get extended, the more they're getting away from their principles. The more shooters you have on the floor, the harder it is for them to stay disciplined within their pack line principles.
How do you teach these concepts so that players can stay instinctive?
The one thing that we want to do is we don't want to overcoach the concepts. We want to reinforce the concepts and just bring to light when guys are doing things the right way. So just like we were talking about at times, we can reverse the ball and our forward could be ball side and throw it inside to the post when he should have gotten opposite. Well, there's no need to harp on the fact that he didn't get opposite. Just throw the ball in the post and then let's get right in the post and rip. If the ball is reversed and we drive and the forward gets away and now his man steps up and we can get him a layup, that goes to our benefit too. So it just gives our guys the confidence and the freedom of knowing that you're not wrong, right? But at the same time now, having that balance of being aggressive, being confident, but also still maintaining an element of discipline.
Last one and let you get back to work. Do you need 4 good shooters to run this offense?
It's most effective with 4 good shooters, but the concepts are good because you always have ball movement, player movement. So there's some of the guys on our team that aren't strong shooters. Even if they continue to use their shot fake, right, it makes their man have to respect them, which could open up their drive also. And then at times when you have when you have forwards or wings that aren't good shooters, and you get these guys screening, a lot of times their men will help off of them because they say this guy isn't a good shooter. Well, now he's helping his teammate get an open shot. So I think the concepts are effective either way once you learn them. But I do believe that it's more effective, just like anything else, when you have multiple shooters on the floor.
I'll let you go back to work, Coach. Thank you.
Awesome. So here's another example of us getting in the post and rip. So now we throw the ball inside to our forward. We get into the up screen and we get into the spacing. Now, every one of my guys on the perimeter is a good shooter. So right here, the defense is loading to us, staying at home on shooters, which offers us an opportunity to go one-on-one in the post. Same situation here, but now we have 2 forwards, right? So now we go inside. Number 24, who's opposite right now, Jared Kimbrough, he's a non-shooter. So now we throw the ball into the post, and we get a little confused here. My freshman point guard is thinking he's going to exchange, but then he realizes, oh, I'm coming off of this up screen. We don't get a screen, right? Jarrett just occupies and gets opposite. His man stays at home, and then he's able to go one-on-one in the post. The key to it all is that number 13, Saul Fury, is a good shooter. So his man doesn't just overly commit to helping on the post. And David Beatty, opposite number 1, is also a good shooter, which gives our freshman Brandon Stone an opportunity to go one-on-one without anybody attacking him on his back down. So the last concept that we're going to talk about is the first option in everything that we do. And we call that attack. So attack is our transition game. And the one thing that we want to do is we want to be aggressive in attack. We want to advance the ball with the pass, not primarily with the dribble. But if we can't advance it, then we'll push the pace with a speed dribble up the floor. Again, in attack, we want to catch the shoot first. Then we want to try to get a paint touch. Paint touch equals an early drive or post up. And then if we don't get those things, if we don't score off of those things, we now want to get into our ball reversal game the same way we just showed you guys in pretty much a half court setting, okay? So here's us. We get a defensive stop here. Again, we want to advance the ball with the pass. And just to go back here, and this is important that you guys see. So we always talk about sprinting the floor and not jogging. So right now, it's late in the first half. Senior Isaiah Dees, he doesn't get a strong sprint. We would like for him to get up to the corner. We always talk about filling the corners here. So because he doesn't fill the corner, we don't get a hit ahead. All right, but it's okay. It doesn't stop there. We get a good ball reversal, and now Dave Beatty catches the shoot. Again, we want to get into our attack game. Christian Ray with the hit ahead. We fill our spots. We get a ball reversal. We want to get those shots early in the shot clock, catching the shoot. Sharif Kenny. Great hit ahead pass. And now we get to drive in space. And because we get the ball moving, we get a guy flying at a shooter, and now we get a drive. So again, because Scott Spencer, and it's the difference between the first clip and this one, he sprints, he gets to the corner. He puts the pressure on the defense, which enables us to get a paint touch. We get our paint touch, we get to play inside out. We get that ball reversal. And now kudos to my young freshman guard for not settling for a three when he was wide open and using his jump shot to attack the basket. Again, we want to have better floor balance. So this is a lineup where right now I'm playing small ball and I have 5 guards on the floor, which is something that we'll do at times, right? So my freshman guard forward, Christian Ray, he gets the rebound. Now, ordinarily, Christian would probably sprint and take a corner. But right now he's looking at himself like, okay, I'm the 5. So now he decides to take the middle lane. Scott Spencer does another good job of getting to the corner, which opens up the ball reversal. And then he plays off of his jumper, shot fake, and gets to a pull-up. We get the hit ahead, shot fake, another shot fake, which creates driving space for us. Get to the corner, shot fake, jumper. So now, just to recap on all of our concepts. First concept is catch the shoot. The most open you'll be is on the catch. So before the ball comes to you, you got to be ready to catch the shoot. Have your eyes and feet ready to line yourself up so you can get a good shot. Next thing is driving space. We want to always utilize our jump shot to create driving space, looking to score first. And then if we don't have an opportunity to score, playing off of 2 feet or keeping our dribble alive to play inside out and get our teammate an open shot. The responsibility of the guy that's spacing the floor is always to shorten passes, get to the corners, and keep moving. Don't just stand and watch. The more you move, the easier it is for you to get open and for your teammate to find you. Reverse the ball to make a play. Get the ball from the second or third side of the floor. That's a very important key ingredient to how we want to play, and not just run plays, but make plays, getting the ball from one side of the floor to the other. Post and rip. Anytime the ball goes into the post, make sure that we're occupying the ball side or the weak side with some screening action or exchanges. And then the last thing is, in our attack, we want to be aggressive. But then if we don't have an opportunity to score, rather than just pull the ball out and run a play, we want to give ourselves the best opportunity to score out of each of these four concepts first before we make a decision on calling a play. I appreciate everybody's attention. If anybody has any additional questions, I would love to answer.
Coach, I got a few for you.
Let's go.
All right. Let's see. First, how do you install the offense? Teach each component one at a time? Whole part whole? How do you do it?
That's a great question. So the way we teach it is we drill every day in practice. So we'll do drills and where we'll have a coach in one slot, and we'll have a player in the other slot and then the opposite corner. And what we do is we force the players to exchange, and then we reverse the ball to the corner to the coach, and then both guys will get a shot. And that just gets us in the mindset of catching the shoot. So everything we do, even when we do our shooting drills, everything is geared towards, all right, catch the shoot. The most open you'll be is when you first catch the ball. Then we get into driving space. So it could be the same drill where we'll have a coach and he's reversing the ball. And now on the first ball, on the initial ball reversal, we'll get a baseline drive, and then we'll get somebody spacing to the corner, and we'll kick it out to that guy in the corner for a shot. And then the other two guys that are in the corner and in the slot, they'll exchange, and then those guys will get additional shots. So we'll break it down starting from catching the shoot to driving space. And then we have a drill where we use all four players, and we call it drive, kick, pass, right? So the drive, kick, pass drill, you'll have four players that start at half court. They'll run and fill our four perimeter spots, both corners, both slots. There's one ball. The individual with the ball has the opportunity to drive in any direction he wants. So the name of the drill is drive, kick, pass. So that guy will drive, he'll kick it, and then the next guy will pass it. Then that next guy will drive it, kick it, and then the next guy will pass it. On the third drive, that guy will drive it, kick it, and pass it, and then we'll have managers underneath the basket for all four guys to get a shot. So that's a different way that we work on our drive in space, reverse the ball to make a play concepts, where we just incorporate different drills that are a reflection of our style of play. Post and rip, we have a drill that we call post and rip shooting, where we'll have three guys, one guy in the post, one guy on the wing, one guy at the top of the key. Coach starts with the ball. He'll enter it to the guy on the wing. The guy on the wing will feed the post. And then automatically the post feeder will up screen. So now the guy with the ball in the post, he'll make a move in the post. You'll have another coach who'll hit a shooter on the up screen. You'll have another coach who'll hit the screener, spacing back to shoot. Then you can find different variations of different actions that can occur while we're working on our post and rip, and then we'll implement those in our shooting drills. We could put a guy in the post, throw it to him, and then put two guys opposite, nobody ball side. So now you throw it into the post player can dribble like he's trying to make a back down move. He can pass it out opposite. The opposite guy can make another pass. Those guys shoot, and then you can refeed the post. So trying to create as many different scenarios, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, that are realistic game actions that go within our concepts to drill is the way that we utilize our breakdowns to work on our concepts in practice.
Coach, do you try to create mismatches with your offense concepts on all the same possessions? All or some of the possessions?
The one thing that we do is we look for mismatches, but most of the time mismatches just present themselves through switching or through just defensive transition defense. So most teams in transition defense don't just take don't match up to their man. Like most teams, they're just trying to stop the ball and whoever's back. So now we're not just trying to expose mismatches, but if a team is switching and we know a team is switching, we'll expose mismatches in those type of situations.
Coach, two more questions. What about adjustments? What adjustments would be made running this offense versus zone?
So that's a great question. One of the things that we found is that versus zone, when we just stick with our concepts, we still get what we want, right? The key to it all is in a zone, everybody just settles for threes. So we don't want to just settle for threes versus zone. We want to continue to get paint touches. We want to play inside out, and we want to be aggressive staying within our concepts. Even in ball screens, we'll still run ball screens versus the zone and then utilize our ball screen to create drive in space, ball reversals to make plays, and opportunities to get open catch to shoot 3-point shots.
Troy, do you got any questions?
Yeah, I got a couple quick ones.
Go ahead.
Ash, thanks again for being on behalf of the board of directors and all the members that are tuned in today to watch. We appreciate it very much.
No, thanks for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity. It's been great.
The couple questions I had coming in, you kind of touched on both of them a little bit in the opening. So, but maybe a little quicker. You were point guard at Drexel, assistant coach at LaSalle for 4 years, 4 years at Drexel's assistant, 1 year at Xavier, and then 5 years at Villanova, now 2 at LaSalle. What was that 1 year at Xavier like?
My 1 year at Xavier was awesome, man. Coach Mack, he's a great coach. He taught me a lot about the pack line. He taught me a lot about how to run a big time program. For me, have an opportunity to step outside of my comfort zone and go out to Cincinnati was huge, and they made me feel at home. And when you love ball and you're around great coaches, it's a great experience. And Coach Mack was a great coach. I really used that opportunity to grow as a young coach, and I thank him all the time for that opportunity.
That's what I was thinking. It was the first time you didn't know all the restaurants in every street and alley, and it was a little weird.
It was a little weird, but I figured it out quick.
My real question was regarding Coach Wright. Obviously, his coaching tree is very strong. He's got, 6 or 7 guys currently head coaches at the Division I level. You touched on a few of the things that he taught you earlier, but what made his approach different than some of the other coaches that you've worked with as far as preparing assistant coaches to be a head coach?
Coach Wright, in his own unique way, was always empowering us to teach and coach and not just stand and watch. And it was funny, I was talking to a coaching colleague of mine today, and I was talking about when I was an assistant at Villanova, Coach Wright doesn't miss anything in practice. Like he knows who wasn't in the right spot on defense to tag on a rebound. He recognizes who isn't communicating in the screening action. He sees everything. And there were times my first year at Villanova where I saw it, but I just didn't see it as quick as him. And it was just like, man, like I want to make this point, but I don't like if you don't train yourself to identify and recognize the key teaching points, like he's on it. So I knew that in order for me to develop as a coach, I had to try to get to the point where all the key teaching points that he saw, I saw them, and I tried to beat him to the punch so that I could, in practice, step up and say, yo, you should have made that rotation, just to show him, okay, Ash has it figured out. Because one of the things that I learned at Villanova was, we did things a different way. And I didn't want to go into that situation, with my own ideas because of the other places I've been. I had to go in there. I had to learn his system, which is a really good system, and then be able to teach it. So, him giving me the opportunity to come in there and encourage me to teach, encourage me to get on the floor and have a voice and be able to take command of the team and organize the group. That's one of the things that I felt really prepared me to be a head coach.
Well, again, we want to thank you for doing this today.
Coach, thanks for great meeting you. Super presentation. You want people to contact you to get this stuff, or do you want to send it to us and we'll send it out? What's best for you?
So guys can email my director of basketball operations, Andrew McGlynn, and his email, I'm sorry, I got it right here. His email is mcglynn@lasalle.edu, or just email me, howard@lasalle.edu. And I'll be more than welcome to answer any questions anybody else has.
Coach,
howard@lasalle.edu.
I'm going to go ahead and put it on. Give me 1 second here, Coach. I'm going to put it on the message board right now. And then I'll do that. And then we can do it on every one of them. Okay?
Awesome.
Coach, fantastic job. Have a wonderful day. Stay
Thanks,
safe.
guys. I appreciate it. Same to you.
See ya. Good luck the rest of the weekend, all right?
All right. Same to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.